Welcome back to video 4. Today what we're going to do is we're going to finish up this cylinder, get the cylinder all ready to go, and hone it, and we're going to check the ring gap on the rings that came out of it, just to see how far out they are, if they are out, and we're also going to measure the bore so we can order the correct piston. So let's get started on that. One thing that I want to go over first. The first thing I did was I took simple green and a small toothbrush. This is one of the toothbrushes left over from when my kids were little, and cleaned all the dirt and debris off the outside of the cylinder, just to make sure that nothing falls in any of these cavities, and it just makes for it a little bit easier to work with. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to check the ring end gap. And this is the piston I took out. So we're going to pull the first ring off, which is the top ring. And they should be directional. So let's see if we can find a mark on this. And there is no mark, which is weird. Usually you have an up and a down, unless they're angled. All right, no mark. Let's pop it in. Well, we'll do it by eye, just for a check anyway. All right, according to service manual, the ring gap should be 0.25 millimeter to 0.35 millimeter, which is 10 thousandths to 14 thousandths ring gap. We'll start with the small one. Look at the size of that ring gap. That ring gap, I don't know if you guys can see that. I mean, that's 3/16 of an inch. That's massive. Massive ring gap. So these rings were smoked. That is a massive ring gap. So that is no bueno. Let's check the other one. Let's pull it off of here. Clean it up a little bit. And again, I don't see a top or a bottom on these rings, which is very strange. Let's pop this one in. And this one looks right. This one looks okay. You can see the small gap on that one. Let's see, we'll try the 10th thou first. And the 10th thou goes in, we'll try the 15th thou. And the 14th thou actually doesn't have drag on it, but it is close. Let's go up to a 16. See what 16th thou looks like. Still goes in. And we'll go up to a 20. See if 20 thousandths goes in. 20 doesn't go in. So it's probably like an 18 thousandths gap, which is still out of spec. It's only a couple of thou out of spec, so this was not that bad. But this ring, this ring here is way out. I mean, that is crazy out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's actually not even sitting flat against the cylinder wall right there where the gap is. You can see light right through it. I don't know if I can show you guys without blinding you. You see the gap right there? You're not supposed to see a gap underneath the ring. I shouldn't say underneath it. You shouldn't see a gap against the wall. It should fit smooth and flush all the way around. This ring is about as smoked as I've seen. So definitely need the rings. No doubt about that. All right, let me get set up for honing. Here's my hone. I just have it on a standard cheap Roby drill. I'm not gonna run this at a really high RPM. I'm just gonna run it slow and push it in and out relatively fast. I'm gonna lube it with WD. That's pretty much it. Let's run this guy in there. See if I can do it so you guys can see it. I'll reverse it. One more time the other way. Should do it. Let's take a look, see what we got. Looks pretty good. The area in question is right here, but I'm seeing hatching over the tops of these, so it's just discoloration. It's not scoring. And some more on the other side. I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. We don't want to go too much. All right, now I want to resurface the top, the bottom, and that gasket surface right there. Let me get set up. I can feel the stone hitting high spots. Looks good. Let's hit that little surface right there. That looks good. Now let's do the bottom. Now the bottom's a little different because I can't go across anything, so I have to kind of run around the edge. That's pretty much it. These areas are all smooth now. They're ready for a nice new gasket. The cylinder's got cross hatching in it. I like what I see with the discoloration because the cross hatches go right across the discoloration. Now I could probably keep honing this out and get that out of there, but then the more I hone it, the more material I'm going to take off, and I don't want to enlarge the bore. So I just want to put the cross hatch on here so that the rings will seat themselves properly. And I have achieved that, so I'm not going any further. Now the only thing left to do now is to clean this up really good with some brake clean. Okay, we're all cleaned up with brake clean. There's no oil or grease on this anywhere. What I'm going to do right now is let's check bore diameter before we go any further. Checking bore diameter, I'm going to use a set of telescoping gauges. And hopefully this one's big enough, which it looks like it should be. All right. Should I use that one? Nope, too small. All right. The way these work is you push them in, and then you screw that at the end, which locks it so they stay in. Then you put them down inside the bore, and what you do is you open them up, and these things pop out. And then you lock it again. Once you get a good feel that you have it touching the furthest most point of the radius of the bore, and then you lock it, and then you measure across these. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I don't have a set of mics that are big enough for this bore, so I'm gonna have to use a pair of verniers. The proper way to do it is with a pair of micrometers. So we got that's a better reading. You can see that it's exactly 96 millimeter. So the bore is standard and it's not worn out at all, which is beautiful. You guys see that? 96 mil. We're in good shape. So don't need to do anything with this. So the hone is good, and we're going to set this aside so it doesn't get dirty, and it's ready for reassembly. Let's start taking some stuff apart here. I got my flywheel puller in the mail. It's a Tusk, and this thing is a 28 millimeter flywheel puller. It's the one I didn't have. So now that I have it, let's start taking the rest of the motor apart, shall we? Wow. Let's see that, shall we? Look at the stuff on that. Underneath. Looks like gasket material and who knows what else. Pieces of metal. So it looks like the crank did let some stuff loose here. You can see there's some more debris where that screen was. And there's stuff down inside the motor. All right, let's continue. This is where we're at the moment. Cases are split, crank is out, covers are off, all the internals. The oil, what a mess. I got a ton of cleaning to do here. Gasket prep, all that stuff. I mean, this stuff, that is just sludge. I honestly don't think the oil's been changed in this bike in a long time. I mean, just look at the stuff down inside there. It's pretty bad. Same here. And you can see it. And the stuff in the cardboard, it is just disgusting. It is straight sludge. So I got a lot of cleaning to do and inspecting. I'm not going to record any of that. I'm going to start prepping all this stuff and getting it ready for assembly. I got a lot of parts to order. I still haven't got the crank yet. Waiting on that. I'm going to replace the main bearings. Why not? It's a pot. I might as well do it. They feel okay. I don't feel any thumping in them or anything. Could probably get away with using them, but I'm putting in a brand new crank, so I'm going to replace the main bearings too. Why not? I'm going to replace the seals. This O-ring right here looks like it's got dry rot on it. Let me show you something here I noticed. This seal right here is worn out. You can see it. One side's completely missing. So that's got to get replaced. Everything else looks okay. I'm going to replace the seal that goes on the sprocket shaft, or counter shaft that they like to call it. I'm going to replace the seals for the shift shaft. I'm going to replace the seals for the clutch shifter shaft. I'm going to replace everything. So at this point here, I'm going to stop I'm going to start cleaning this stuff up. And I think this will be the end of video 4. And I got a bunch of stuff to order. Once those parts come in, hopefully I'll have everything here cleaned up and ready to start assembling. Until then, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Keep the comments coming. I enjoy reading every single one of them. And I will just see you guys in video 5. And hopefully at that point, we can start assembling this thing and get it closer to running. I'll see you guys then.